In a game filled with just about everything imaginable, from a scoop and score to one-handed catches to insane red zone stops, the Ohio State Buckeyes take down the Texas Longhorns in the Cotton Bowl 28-14 to advance and play Notre Dame in the national championship. In this video, I give my instant reaction to this game as I am currently recording this at right around midnight to give you guys my instant gut reaction to this game. Before we get into the content, welcome into the College Football 360 YouTube channel where I analyze every angle of the best game known to man, college football. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys for 1 second. Just bear with me before we get into the content. I do everything on this channel. I edit, graphic design, record all of it myself, and I really do want to grow this channel. I'm really being honest with you guys, excuse me. And I can't grow it myself. I need you. I need you to help me. And you can help me by subscribing, as that is the best and most efficient way to support the channel. Liking and commenting your thoughts down below would be great as well. That's enough of the talk. Let's dive right into the game. So I have here some quick bullet points to help point us in the right direction here. I really want to start out talking about this game by talking about, everyone's going to talk about the Jack Sawyer 86-yard scoop and score, but really, I think what defined this game was the 13-play drive that Will Howard orchestrated late in the game to ultimately end up winning the game. The go-ahead touchdown scored by Quinshon Judkins. It was a legacy drive for Will Howard. They mentioned it multiple times on the broadcast. Will Howard has not beaten Texas. Both times that he's lost to both times that he's lost to Texas, it has been on fourth down plays where he did not convert. And that fourth and 2, and he kept it himself and ran it, almost scored if the turf wouldn't have swallowed him up. It was just you could just feel it. They were going to win that game right there. You could just feel it right there. Even though Texas would go down and eventually get stopped. We'll talk about that in a second. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to it. But it was a legacy drive for Will Howard. I haven't seen something like that from Will Howard. It's a real contrast from the beginning of not the beginning of the season, but from in the regular season when he was supposed to have that legacy drive against Oregon in Eugene, taking down one of the top teams in the nation, and he slides late and he's just not able to, they don't have enough time, and he's pretty much the full reason why they lost that game. And to contrast that with what we have now, and he comes up clutch, and it's just it is all poetic, isn't it? And just a signature legacy drive from Will Howard and the Ohio State Buckeyes. He won the offensive MVP as he rightfully should have, and he played great in this game. Well, I will preface that. Just talking about Will Howard, he was up and down in this game. He was inconsistent. Texas brought a really good defense of game plan. They stuck those two high safeties up at the top to not allow the deep bomb pass that Ohio State had been thriving on versus Tennessee and Oregon. And it honestly kind of worked, except for the fact that Ohio State was able to pick apart the middle of the field and the dump-offs. They were playing the two high safety. They shifted the coverage around to prevent Jeremiah Smith from doing anything. And, I mean, that bleeds into that other point there that Ohio State did this without Jeremiah Smith. No production at all from Jeremiah Smith. I don't think he had 10 yards. So it was like, just one of those things where it's like Ohio State was going through adversity the whole game. You have the best receiver in college football, and he can't do anything because Texas puts their best defenders all over Jeremiah Smith, and he can't do anything. Even when he gets open, it's just way too late. So, for Ohio State to deal with that adversity, and, we go back to Texas. Texas had a great game plan to start out the game, and as the game progressed, it got even better. Ohio State attacked the middle of the field to start the game, and then they shored that up, and it looked like they were just dominant, and the defensive line was starting to dominate, and they did dominate. They sacked Will Howard. They got a ton of pressures on him, and Will Howard looked very discombobulated in, the second quarter, the third quarter. So, it was an up and down game from Will Howard. It ended very poetically and great. And overall, through the whole game, he played pretty darn good, obviously. But he did have those spurts in the second and third quarters where I was like, well, is this going to be a game where people remember Will Howard for choking or losing the game because of it, whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on to the red zone collapse from Texas's offense. First of all, they had two pass interferences inside the 5-yard line to get them within an inch of the touchdown. But yet again, Ohio State's red zone defense is one of the best. I'm pretty sure it's a top 3 red zone defense in college football. They're the number 1 defense in college football. They have some monsters on the defensive line, and they were able to just, stop them on that first down. Obviously, everyone's talking about the pitch that went backwards for 6 yards, and rightfully so. I mean, it wasn't a good play call per se in the moment. But what are you going to do? Run the ball straight at the teeth of that defense again? Because it didn't work the first time. So Ohio State's defense, via the first stop on first down, set Texas up for failure on second down. And honestly, it's just great for Ohio State. And then obviously you have Jack Sawyer come around the edge unblocked and just absolutely demolishes his former roommate at Ohio State, Quinn Ewers, and takes it to the house. Honestly, play of the game right there. I usually do a play of the game. That is the play of the game right there. Will Howard's 4th and 2 run is right there. It's probably number 2, but you can't top it. It sealed the game for Ohio State, made the score a lot worse than it actually looked. It did. So, Ohio State did cover, but it was very, very close. It was a very, very close game. It was an evenly matched game. Even when Texas was missing their star receiver, Golden was out for a bit, and then he came back and then, had that great catch and then kind of just faded off. A couple notes that I took in the game. Ohio State's defense was always unfazed. They would give up a play. We always knew. I said this in my preview to this game. Texas was going to come out with explosive plays, and a lot of them, because that was the only way they were going to stay in this game, is if they had explosive plays, because they're not consistent on offense. They rely on the chunk plays, the big plays, the electric plays, that sort of play. And Ohio State's defense, they could have gotten their own head and taken a play off after allowing a big pass down the field or whatever. But they are always tenacious, ruthless, and relentless. I mean, they always come after it. It does not matter what happened the previous play. They will always come and out the exact same way with whatever they're doing. Just overall, I did not like how Ohio State's defense attacked it schematically, especially in the second and third quarter and the fourth quarter as well, that they were rushing 4 every single time. And in the first quarter, they were rushing 5 or 6 guys. It seemed like they were blitzing a lot, and they were getting pressure on Ewers. They just weren't getting the same pressure when they were rushing 4. Now, obviously, the game-sealing play was on a 4-man rush, but my argument to that is that, obviously, Jack Sawyer was unblocked. So there's that as well. I thought that they could have easily won this game if they would have sent in more pressure. They were just sending 4 and giving Ewers time to throw the ball. And Ewers is great when he's just able to just sit in the pocket and throw the ball. I think Texas's defensive line played much better than Ohio State's defensive line. Texas's defensive line outplayed Ohio State's defensive line, probably got more pressures, all that stuff. And self-inflicting wounds was killing Ohio State. I'm kind of just mopping up and kind of just analyzing the rest of the game that we haven't covered, So, yes, it is a little rambling and a little all over the place, but just bear with me. This is an instant reaction. I get it. Self-inflicting wounds kind of killed Ohio State. They had about 7 penalties for 70-plus yards, and, from Travion Henderson coming up and just smacking the dude in the head to all this other stuff. False starts. It was looking like they were just off. It just seemed like an off night at times for Ohio State, and obviously they pulled it together and they won. Again, battling through adversity. All comes back to that. So, anyway, I think I've talked enough about this game. I've kept you guys here for 10 plus minutes. I am going to go now. I have tons of content ready to go on the channel. I've recorded 6 plus videos for a series that I will be doing, and I will be unveiling after the national championship game or before it. I don't know. Either way. And I will have tons of national championship content between Ohio State and Notre Dame coming out. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, however rambly I may have sounded or been. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, like and comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.